Seattle, Minnesota. Russell Wilson, awesome again. We'll get to him. Let's start, though, with that Minnesota run game without Dalvin Cook. And we think about this Seattle run defense. Should be good against anybody.
Yeah.
Why did Minnesota get the best of them that way?
Oh, well.
And I have a question here while you think about the Seahawks defense. This is from @SportLover2010. Do you think Seattle should adopt the defense that the Raiders and Pats played against Kansas City, seeing as their pass rush stinks? Maybe having more numbers and coverage could be beneficial for them.
I do, yes. I'd like that. It's just like the same thing we're just talking about with Tennessee and Buffalo, right? Yeah, I do like that generally, but because Seattle's another team that we're going to talk about where I'm going to go, I'm so sick of the 5-man blitz that gets the same amount of pressure the 4-man blitz does, except we just leave a guy wide open.
Right.
I mean, they're the kings of it right now. Like, we're going to send one more guy. It doesn't really matter. We still don't get to the quarterback.
And as a result, Seahawks have given up 2,356 total yards, most by any team through 5 games since the 1950 Colts.
It's bad. Now, there's a lot of things to talk about, as far as the Seahawks defense. We've hit on it a little bit. Am I surprised that Dalvin Cook and company ran the ball the way they did? Yes. Do I think a few times, especially when Cook got out of the game, did they catch the Seahawks going, I don't think they'll give it to Madison or the running game as much. Let's play a little coverage, and it caught them by surprise? Yes, I do. But, I don't know what else to say, about the Seahawks defense. It's not going to get much better.
What could be fixed? Their personnel is their personnel.
Their personnel is, yes.
What can be fixed or tweaked?
I just would like to see, I think that less of the always selling out 8 guys at the line of scrimmage, you're not going to run the ball on us. I, every now and then, would like to see them be, a little outside the box and do some, coverage concepts that are not just something you constantly put on film week after week after week. They have little things they do here and there, but I don't know. They need to be on the trade block in a few weeks and try to find if they can get a shutdown corner or a pass rusher. I'll take either one. But I just know one of the things I wrote in my notes is, the Seahawks can't stop the run. So if the numbers are equal, right, and it's 7-on-7, they're losing.
Is that more D-line or linebacker problem?
It's probably more D-line right now. It's the D-line. They only got one good one, and it's Jarran Reed. The rest of it, they get dominated on a snap-by-snap basis. Jarran Reed's really the only high-level player they have in their front 7. Bobby Wagner's still good, don't get me wrong, but he's not like the Hall of Fame linebacker we saw 3-4 years ago. And I would say the same thing about KJ Wright. So Reed's the only difference maker they have there. Now, I think the other thing, too, just on the personnel standpoint before we move on, the fact that they can't play man, and you've heard me say this, they have corners who start for them who most teams would go, you can't play corner for us. We'll bring you in to cover Travis Kelce because you could be that guy. You could be like the Patriots' third safety guy who covers big receivers and covers a big tight end. But, what they thought they were ahead of the curve of with this defensive scheme and all that, that's 10 years ago now. That might as well be 100 years ago. Move on. They have to change because now they're really in the predicament of, like we've talked about, can't stop the run unless they outnumber it, can't rush the passer with 4, leaves them to have to play man every now and then. And those guys, they're tall, long corners. They can't change direction. They can't cover anybody man-to-man. And so I don't know. That's why I keep saying I don't think it's going to get fixed, really.
The Seahawks are the only team in the Super Bowl era to start 5-0 despite being outgained by an average of 50 total yards per game. In one way, they have an identity. Their defense is good enough to win because they had an MVP at quarterback, but I wonder if it can be sustained.
I know. Well, the one thing they got going for them, and now this is the first game I saw them kind of die some slow deaths with some of these long drives, right, and everything like that. They need Jamal Adams back, but the one thing they got going for them in every game just about, they create 2 or 3 plays, and it always gives Russell a little bit of an advantage. This game, they kicked the shit out of the Seattle Seahawks for the whole first half. It was only 13-0. So they did a good job on 2 out of those 3 drives holding the field goal. So there you go. You go into halftime, you whoop the shit out of some team, and it's only 13-0, and you know Russell Wilson's on the other side.
Yeah.
Right? So you know you're going to be like, oh, crap, we might have blown our chance to really put them in a stranglehold. So, that's the one thing they got for them is because Pete and Ken Norton Jr. are at least aggressive on the defensive side of the ball, that it does create chaos a few plays every game for the other team, and it's benefited the Seahawks with the 2 turnovers against Miami that helped them. Of course, they scored. They scored a touchdown like 3 out of 5 plays because they drove down, scored a touchdown to start the second half. He threw the interception, or no, he got the strip sack fumble, and then they got the ball back and he threw the interception and KJ one-handed it. So like right now, I think that's about as good as it's going to get for that Seattle defense. I don't think it's going to get much better than that.
They did a good job on Justin Jefferson, who has been so good the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
3 catches, 23 yards, which allowed Thielen to be a little more himself, 9 for 80 and a couple of touchdowns.
They had a few plays, and this is what I did like from Seattle, where they doubled Justin Jefferson. Now, they're a team that usually doesn't do that kind of stuff. They're kind of like, this is what we do, and this is what. But they had a few moments where they're like, wait, they got to throw the ball here. We're not going to let 18 beat us. And, they gave him some issues from that standpoint to where I think Justin Jefferson's put enough on film now where everyone goes, hey, Adam Thielen's good, but this guy's better, and we got to watch out for him. And, that was cool. I mean, again, the Seahawks play hard. They're physical. The scheme, like you've heard me say, it's not great, but they get the most out of their talent, which is I think very average on that side of the ball. And they're having to coach it up even to stop the run plays. They're always having to slant the line one way or slant the other way, and they got gashed on a few plays because everybody slanted one way and one guy messed up and it left a huge gap, and then Minnesota would just gash them for a 10-yard gain or a 20-yard gain. But those are the things they have to kind of risky do right now to kind of make it work every now and then.
Well, Seattle's got 2 major headlines going on right now. The first one's a fun one to watch, and that's Russell Wilson and just his MVP awesome season he's having. But this other one we've been talking about, can this defense, and we brought it up 3 or 4 weeks ago, can they go from poor to average as the season goes on? They haven't yet, but we certainly keep an eye if they can make a couple steps toward that.
I mean, they're having to play 5- and 6-man fronts almost every play right now because they just know we can't stop the run, and they're having to do that. So sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Okay.
Last thing on that side.
Yeah, go ahead.
Kirk freaking Cousins.
Yeah.
He played great.
Yes, he did.
I mean, the throws he makes and is asked to make are so high level. He gets no easy throws. They're not very good at pass protecting, and he still hangs in there and throws. I just wanted to give him a little credit.
I appreciate you bringing that up because we talked about Tannehill's accuracy and Justin Herbert's. Hey, Kirk Cousins made a bunch of really difficult throws routinely throughout that game as well, and doesn't get talked about enough.
No, definitely not. He was phenomenal. I know he had the interception. KJ Wright's a good player too. He made a great one-handed interception. So yeah, it happens, right?
Okay. As for Russell Wilson, we're going to start out here. Kind of break it down into segments here with him, first half to second half. The first half, which was kind of lesser than what we're used to seeing. A question from @Mehmet-305. What specific defense and scheme did Mike Zimmer implement to slow Russell Wilson down in the first half? And I can attach 7 for 7 for only 40 yards.
Yeah.
So 7 for 7 sounds good, but when you're getting 5 yards per attempt, that's a major win to the defense every time.
Well, and when you're not on the field in the first half either, the defense looks pretty good too. Yeah. That's the other issue. 12-play, 77-yard drive for over 6 minutes to start the game. 17-play, 64-yard drive.
Ridiculous.
Do you hear that?
Yeah.
17 plays for 64 yards. 10-minute and 13-second drive. Then the next drive is 11 plays for 57 yards. I mean, so that's insane. Now, that was quicker, but, that's the first issue. And then I think the other thing is, Minnesota played coverage. Just like we've heard, it's the theme of the day.
Yeah.
Here we go. They weren't stupid. They didn't play man-to-man. They're a little bit more usually of a single safety defense, whether it's zone or man. They kind of play single safety a lot. Mike Zimmer, I think he finally said, well, listen, I like to outnumber the run and do all of that stuff too, but I just can't trust my guys on DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. And he played a lot of quarters, quarter, half, things like that, to where he tried to keep them in front of them. And then Seattle on a few drives made some mistakes and got behind the chains. And it really was as easy as that in the first half. I wasn't sitting there going, whoa, they're dominating them.
Right.
They were just playing smart. They were making Seattle execute. I think they played a few different coverages in some situations that Seattle was expecting. And they didn't let Russell run around and go crazy. And yeah, Seattle had a few penalties throughout the first half that, put them in some 3rd and 15s and whatever else, and they just couldn't overcome it. So I think that would be the breakdown of that.
So playing coverage worked for them, in addition to the offense hanging onto the ball and scoring with those long drives. But I asked this, and I also want to kind of have us all remember that we talked about Drew Brees struggling in the first half and the second half, really finding a way.
This is it.
What did Russell Wilson do to go from strugglesville, as you would say,
right,
quarters 1 and 2,
yeah,
to really getting it going more as the game got longer?
Yeah, I think the big thing is, first off, the defense created some short fields for them.
That helps.
That's the big thing. They got 2 touchdown drives, 2 plays, 15-yard drive, 1 play, 29-yard run. That was it.
That works.
We'll look back at the end of the day and go, oh, he had 3 touchdown passes. Whoa, he really came on fire there and got them back in the game. But no, I mean, that's just the reality of the situation. Makes the great pass to Metcalf on that first touchdown pass, or his second touchdown pass, first DK one, which was a great throw, like to the left side, kind of like a skinny post or whatever it was. But I can't sit here and say that I saw some magical thing or a different plan of attack from them. Vikings played pretty good on the defensive side of the ball. They didn't give the normal amount of opportunities that maybe other teams do to give Russell to take those one-on-one shots down the field. They played very conservative on the back end.
Should they have done more to contain Metcalf?
Well, I think they did. I mean, again, Metcalf had 3 receptions for 60 yards, all on the last drive of the game.
Right.
And would you ask me, I just can't believe Mike Zimmer went down like that. I think that's where I'm surprised. Not that they had to do it all game, but on the last drive of the game, the one thing I think if I'm Minnesota, I'm going to go, Russell and DK are not going to beat me. Maybe it'll be Russell and somebody else. But I've seen this guy every week do this to a team. What made you think the results are going to be different?
So let's bring up a couple of major what happened here for the theme today. 4th and 10 on the final drive. 4th
and 10 on the final drive is just 2 ballers making a play. All right?
Those 2 being Wilson and Metcalf.
And again, it's one of the few. All right. So, and before we even hit this, I just want to make this clarifying comment. There wasn't a ton of one-on-one opportunities. I also think, though, anytime there is one-on-one, Russell Wilson needs to be more aware of DK Metcalf and just take a chance. Who cares? It is because you're getting to the point here where he's not going to get one-on-one very many times every game.
Leads the NFL 22.5 yards per reception.
Oh, he had a double move one time early in the game. Russell ended up getting sacked, I think, on the first drive. He went out and up. Russell should have just thrown it. When Russell was getting ready to throw it, they were even. And I want to just go, ooh, another few weeks he's going to realize, he's even, he's leaving. Right. You just throw it out there. He's going to get it. I thought there was a few left on the table that way. But here they are. Yes, what was it, 4th and 10?
4th and 10.
You know what they did?
Who's they?
The Minnesota fucking stupid purple team. They blitzed 5. So there we go.
Wrong number, first of all.
Here we go, blitzing 5. Why? I don't know. We're going to leave one-on-one with Dantzler, a rookie, mid-round pick against what I'm going to say is now the best receiver in football.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Number 1.
I can't deny it. I mean, just what I see. It's just what I see. I mean, how stupid am I that I didn't have him on my top 10 receiver list? What an idiot I am.
Thought you did.
Nope. I chickened out. Okay. I chickened out. With some of the young guys who I was like, they're going into year 2. Let me just make sure they have another good year, solidify them. Like him, DJ Moore, Terry McLaurin. I wimped out on all. I might have DK Matt at 10, right? Did I have Metcalf at 10?
Pete?
I had him all.
No.
Right, so I think I had him 11. I think he was the guy.
Coming out of the draft, though, just to go positive.
My number 1 receiver.
Yeah, number 1.
I did. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. But all right. So back to the point here. Sorry to you get me talking. And sorry. They're playing man-to-man. They blitz 5. It's one-on-one. You got a rookie corner out there in Dantzler, 27, who's long. He runs a slant and go. So he gives just a little slant nod. Corner does a great job. Doesn't bite on it. He's just 4th and 10. I'm not biting on a slant. Great job. But he plays so far off that Russell and DK recognize it. Like, he's like, wait, I know I am supposed to run the go part here, but we're going to have to throw it 87 yards by the time I get going past this guy. He's so deep. So DK was really smart and almost kind of gearing it down a little bit. And Russell noticing, wait, he's not going to catch that guy. Let me just kind of throw a jump ball and kind of behind the DB, and I'm just going to let my super freak go up and get it. And what did he do? He was a super freak and went up and got it. So that's all there was to that on that play. That's all it was. It was just, our guy's better than yours. You've blitzed me. Mm-hmm. He's one-on-one. Good thing you blitzed me. Man, I would rather have that guy out there doubling him.
Right.
But, okay.
And that's an indication. We talk so often about Wilson having excellent touch and accuracy on the deep ball, where sometimes it's just a feel of where to put it. It's not hitting a guy in stride.
Exactly.
It's that instinct of, this is the kind of ball that he's going to catch. It's not the perfect one. It's just put it up there and let him get it.
I'm going to put it in the spot where we're going to get it. Right. And it's like you to me. If I was DK and I was running and you were the DB, like with your, you're kind of turning, I mean, that's where it was. Like, we're going that way. Russell's over there. You were kind of there. That's where Dantzler was with, his hips open like he's running downfield. And Russell sees it. And he goes, all right, I'm just going to kind of throw one up and let DK go up and get it. And, I mean, DK, it wasn't even – I bet you Russell, when he left his hand, he was probably like, oh, I might have thrown it too high.
Thought it was too much, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And he jumped 12 feet in the air, and I swear he paused at the top of the jump and was like, wait, I don't want to come down yet. Stay there for a second. And then he caught it and came down.
Remember 2 or 3 Sundays ago when he was warming up and we had those great shots on Sunday Night Football, him going up in the end zone and getting it. You're like, oh, it's a cool highlight, but, let's see if it plays out that way in a game. And then at a key moment, that actually came through.
Yes.
Next one on that drive.
Yeah, that's right.
So what happened on the 4th and goal in the game winner?
Well, it's just a simple crossing route, and I'm gonna pull it up so you can watch it with me here, just so we can talk about it together. But first off, they had gone outside, right? They threw an out route to DK Metcalf. He dropped it. They threw an out route to Lockett that Russell Wilson threw a little hard and outside to where he got 2 hands on it, but it would have been a tough catch. Then they threw a fade route to DK Metcalf in the back right corner of the end zone. So they had attacked outside. Hey, we're just going to go one-on-one. Our guy's better than you. And they got into a formation where, let me just get to it here. Here it is, where it's like a snug formation, as you could see, right?
Snug meaning?
Snug meaning like the 2 receivers to Russell Wilson's left are Lockett and DK Metcalf, and they're about, I would say Metcalf is 5 yards from the left tackle, Dwayne Brown?
Maybe. It's pretty tight.
4,
almost
right?
like they're extended tight
ends.
ends.
They're almost extended tight ends, right.
Yeah.
It's a snug. And then, Lockett's in between the tackle and Metcalf as like that slot receiver, and he's, 1.5 yards from the tackle, maybe 2 yards. So they did that, which a lot of the times, too, now if you're a defense, you're worried about, this could expand out, They could end up running one guy in the flat and one guy on the corner route to the corner. What are we going to do there? I don't know, but we'll let it play out. And really, all they did was put DK on the cross. They ran double. They protected with the tight end, kept him in, kept the back in to block. And they ran, I want to say, I'm not sure, that's Swain up top, and a crossing route over the middle with DK Metcalf. Now, the middle of the field's open. The Vikings are playing man-to-man, and the linebackers, for whatever reason, really came up aggressive. This is one thing I don't understand about the defensive call. Like, there's no play-action pass here. What are they going up to, just to stop Russell from running?
And their aggressiveness there left, you said middle of the field open, that's what allowed for it to be open.
That's where That's where I just want to go. I don't understand that. So we're going to avoid the middle of the field, basically, to let them throw a crossing route where now it's man-to-man. We got 2 crossers. And Anthony Harris, who's tried to help out in the crosser because he knows 27 Dantzler's in a tough spot here because he could get picked.
And Anthony Harris is the safety who was free because the Seahawks only got 4 out.
They only got 4 out.
So he's able to just play center field.
He's just playing center field, and he realizes the pick play's in front of him, and he knows that his guy's in trouble. He makes a great break on the ball. It's just the ball itself was perfect. Right. I mean, it was a perfect throw. And again, they ran a little bit of that green dog aspect where 50 acted like he was blitzed. He got the right tackle to come off the right defensive end and thinking he's going to blitz to tackle him. It left 95, I believe that's Weatherly, unblocked. Or no, that might have been I can't say his last name, 95 in the Vikings. Pete, you're going to have to help me with that one.
We'll just stay with 95.
Yeah, but 95. But look at this. This is the other thing that I think is brilliant of this. The guy that's a free runner, 95, Russell Wilson makes him pause just a little bit with like a little head and shoulder fake to where he stopped running for a second to give himself an extra time to throw and watch. You'll see it a little
And he
more.
was rushing free.
Totally free. But
No
see
one
how he
blocked
did
him.
that right there?
Yep, yep.
And he paused because he was like, wait, is he going to try to throw this around me or set me up and make a move?
Or is he going to run?
Right. Is he going to run? Right. But because they sent that linebacker up into the middle of the scrimmage, you know, again, it was the theme of the week for me. Like, why?
Right.
Why?
Served no purpose.
It did nothing.
He wasn't going to affect Wilson, and he left that space open behind him, which was a space that was vacated.
Well, that was
touchdown.
right. He was. He left. It's just I see too much of that in football right now. It's driving me crazy. But, you know, ultimately it just comes down to Seattle once again. They just never give up. They always make big plays when they need to. And no matter how badly they're outplayed or whatever it is, they just continue to kind of compete and find a way. And that's why they're amazing.
And big-time credit to Breeze and Wilson for having frustrating days leading up to that. But everybody knows it, from the guys on the other side of the field to all of us watching, that they always have a chance, which is a cliche thing to say, but they actually have it with those two guys.
I agreed. They really do. If you're not up by more than 20 points, well, first off, this year right now, I mean, as we're seeing, 17-point leads are not safe.
Doesn't mean that
There's
much,
no crowd noise. Quarterbacks are as calm as ever, right? There's no anxiety in the stadium. You don't. If you're the home team and you're down by 17, you don't hear, boo, you suck, which then causes the coach to like call plays that probably he wouldn't call if it was a calmer situation, but now he's feeling the angst of the fans and all that. Or, you know, if you're, you know, the team on the road and you're up by 17, or no, what am I saying? If you're a home team up by 17 or whatever, the other thing too, it's just there's no crowd noise. Defensive lines can't get off in these big moments anymore where, okay, our defense, we're up by 17, our crowd, we're at home, they're loud as hell now because we're up 17. D-line's going to get to pin the ears back and get off the line of scrimmage. They have that advantage gone without any fans.
And just thinking of no fans, just at home too. We've all had little moments where you really recognize it. I thought that was the biggest example yet of all the games of watching where I really missed the fans, because think about what that would have felt like in Seattle.
Oh,
How it would have come through your television set with that drive at the end. And as impressive and awesome as it was, it definitely wasn't quite what it would have been had you had that reaction. And I mean, I've been aware of it watching all the games, but I thought it was just very obvious and something missing there.
It stinks. It stinks for those moments. You're right, because it's you want to watch the 12s in that stadium.
Right.
I mean, the screen shakes sometimes. They yell so loud.
Right.
You know, we've missed that game, the Patriots game at the 1 yard line. That would have been another one where you're just like, man, Seattle, that place would have fell to the ground. It would have gone so crazy.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.